We are back with the Beatryce prophecy, and we are starting at chapter 41. She was on the back of the horse, wrapped tightly in a scratchy and terrible-smelling cloth, a blanket or a cloak. Whoever had captured her did not talk. There was breathing, the sound of the horse's hoofs, the clink of the spurs, but there were no words, and Beatryce thought that this was the fourth darkness. The first darkness had been when she lay beneath her brothers' bodies. The second darkness was when she found her way to the monastery and woke up in the barn, holding Angelica's ear, remembering nothing that had come before. The third darkness was when she sat on the floor of the room in the inn and heard the confession of the soldier. Each time she had found her way into the light with the help of a goat, a monk, and a boy. But this time, what of this time? In his bag of wonders the tutor had a book. The pages of it were glossy and slick, and they were sewn together in a complicated and elegant way so that the stitches did not show at all. The words in the book were printed uniformly and evenly, and each page was filled with lavish illustrations. The book took the story of a wolf who was in truth a king. The king had been cursed by a witch and turned into a wolf, and he went through the world with a crown upon his head buried beneath his thick wolf fur. No one could see the crown, thus no one believed that he was the king. In the book there was a picture of the night sky, blue unto black, and in the sky there was a moon on its side, looking down at the wolf with sadness and wonder. The moon alone knew who the wolf truly was, until a small girl came along, and the girl could see the glint of the crown beneath the fur. She said to the wolf, "I see your crown." And with these words the wolf partially transformed before her. He became then half king, half wolf, and the more the girl believed the king in him, the more the king appeared. But if she stopped believing, the king would disappear, and there was nothing then but wolf, sharpened claw, long tooth, enraged, but not being seen for who he truly was. The girl said to him, "I am tired of believing you into existence. It is too much work. You must believe for yourself that you are the king." The girl went away after she spoke those words, and the wolf sat alone underneath the blue-black sky, with the moon looking down on him, studying him, pitying him. But slowly, slowly, the wolf believed himself into the king that he was. He transformed the whole of himself with the exception of his left paw. The paw, he could not seem to undo to make human again. The magic that the witch had put in place there could not be unwoven. But as for the rest of him, he was king and not wolf, and that is how he stayed. After a long time the girl returned to him, and she was a grown woman, and she said to him, "You believed for yourself who you are," and the king replied, "I did." And they were then king and queen together, and they ruled side by side. It was only they two who knew that one of the king's hands was in truth the paw of something wild. They knew, and the moon knew, and the reader of the story knew too. And the book ended with the words spoken by the wise queen, whose words were, "We shall all in the end be led to where we belong. We shall all in the end find our way home." On the back of the horse, wrapped up in the foul cloth, Beatryce remembered the words at the end of the book, remembered, too, writing them down before the monks at the monastery. But then she had been able to recall nothing at all about who she was. She had remembered the words of the story. Why? Perhaps because she had loved the book so much, the feel of its pages in her hands, and its deep-hued illustrations, its uniform printed words. When she was done reading the book, Beatryce had told the tutor that she had wanted another one like it, another book that was full of transformations and discoveries, wolves and moons and curses and becomings, and the tutor said, "There are no other books that tell stories, Beatryce. This is the only one I know of and have ever seen." "Why are there no such books?" she asked him. "They are not allowed." "Why are they not allowed?" "There are many things that are not allowed, Beatryce," he said. "That is a discussion for another time." She thought now about the wolf. She thought about the moon in the sky that watched the wolf and waited for him to believe in who he was. Were the stars watching her, and the planets, were they waiting for her to believe in who she was, and who was she in any case? Not a queen. That much she knew. It was not her destiny to rule. What, then, was her destiny? Beatryce thought of the girl who saw the wolf for who she was. She thought about the wonder of being known by others for who they were, or who you were, beloved. She wanted suddenly to say to this person who had taken her, who had wrapped her in a stinking cloth and put her on the back of a horse, that she was beloved, and that those who loved her, a wide-eyed monk, a man who had once been king, and a boy who knew his letters, A goat with its head as hard as stone would come searching for her. Thinking of Angelica's head and the damage it was capable of inflicting cheered Beatryce considerably. The goat was capable of anything. The goat would find her somehow. They would all find her, Brother Edict, Jack Dory, and Cannock. What is it to know that people would come searching for you? Everything. We shall all in the end be led to where we belong. We shall all in the end find our way home. Chapter 42. She was right. They came looking for her. They left at John, Jack Dory holding the sword. He had wanted to leave in the middle of the night, but Cannock said to him, If you are going to carry that thing with you, then you must have the knowledge of how to use it. I, said Jack Dory, and who will teach me? I will, said Cannock. This very night I was once a warrior and carried a sword. I put down my arms and armor, but I can instruct you. It would be good if it could be said that Jack Dory struggled to learn what Cannock taught him. Alas, that is not the case at all. Jack Dory did not struggle. Swordplay came as easily to him as everything else did. Cannock showed him, and he learned, and the sword with its terrible history was not heavy in Jack Dory's hands. He found that if he moved it, just as Cannock said that he must, fast and furious and certain, without regret, the sword became a high whistling as it went through the air, almost as if it were singing. Jack Dory, the sword in his hands, thought that he would like now to come upon that black-bearded robber who had killed his parents. He thought, too, that he would like to meet whoever had taken Beatryce. Yes, Jack Dory and his sword would like to meet them all. Now we're at book the 5th, and I think it's the final one. There might be one more. Okay, chapter 43. What does it mean to be brave? This is a question that Brother Edict asked himself as he walked through the dark woods with Jack Dory and Cannock and Swelga. To be brave is not to turn away. To be brave is to go forward. To be brave is to love. Brother Edict was not turning away. He was going forward, and he loved. This Brother Edict did do best of all. Still, he could not keep himself from trembling, and he would not stop the words of the prophecy from tumbling through his mind. A girl child, unseated king, great change. It was to him deeply unsettling and deeply moving to find these words that of his were true. Cannock walked beside Brother Edict. Ahead of him was Jack Dory, and the sword in his hands, and the goat beside him. Brother Edict thought it was possible that Angelica was even more dangerous than the sword. It was a comfort to have her walking out front. If you had told Brother Edict a short time ago that he would be walking through the woods behind a demon goat, that he would be following a boy with a sword, and that he would be walking beside a man who had once been king, Brother Edict would have believed none of it. Where, Brother Edict wondered, was the prophecy for all of this? He put his hands in the pocket of his robe and found the maple candies. He had forgotten to give them to Beatryce. He took hold of the candy in the shape of a leaf and thought, Beatryce, we are coming for you. I am going to bring you something sweet, and you in turn must tell me the story of the mermaid. You must teach Jack Dory to read. You promise, Beatryce, and I promise we are coming for you. He sent this message to her over the trees of the dark woods, across the fields blooming with elderhist, and up to the lighting sky. He sent the message all the way to the castle of the king. Beatryce, we are coming for you. And that was chapter 43.